welcome back. Yeah. What's your...
I want to speak about education in general because the Conservative...
It's about religious schools.
well, yeah, no, it was.
Okay,
It was.
school as well, yes.
It was about religious schools. I'm coming to that. There's nothing wrong with faith schools. At the end of the day, every parent has a right to a choice of how they want to educate their children, what kind of education they want them to have. But the issue with the Conservatives is they're really promoting these free schools where you don't have to be a qualified teacher to teach a class. And no, that's absolutely right, Mr. Singh. You don't have to. You don't have to employ qualified teachers. So that means that anybody could be teaching your child. Don't you want your child to be taught by a qualified teacher?
All
this
the
is
teachers
no.
will be qualified.
And
all the teachers are qualified.
I haven't finished,
otherwise
Mr.
they will not
Singh.
be near this
Let her finish.
Let me finish,
let her
Mr. Singh. And also, I'd like to say something else about Asians and education. Now, the Asian community, one thing we can say is that we really value education. And what opportunities our parents didn't have, they want us to have. And what opportunities we haven't had, we want our children to have. And the Conservatives, and the coalition government, should I say, have put up tuition fees to £9,000 a year. Now, which family who has 2 or 3 children to put through university is going to pay £9,000 a year for their child's tuition fees? It's just ridiculous. And what the Labour Party is going to do is put tuition fees down to £6,000, which is much more manageable, and it will probably, I believe, put them down
6,000?
even lower.
6,000?
Well, I'll tell you why it's 6,000. Because everything in the Labour Party's manifesto is costed, unlike the Conservatives who just make up things like we're going to put 8 billion into the NHS. And no, you haven't. That wasn't a very good explanation. That was just a roundabout explanation. But everything is costed. So if we can afford to put the fees down to £6,000, we will put them down.
No.
Well, no, we will. That's what Ed Miliband has said. We will. Let me finish. Let me finish. So we're going. The Labour Party is going to put fees down to £6,000 a year because it is costed. That is what we can afford. And in future, as the economy improves even more, it will probably go down even further. Because it's only the Labour Party that values education.
But let's be clear. Let's be clear. This is the same Labour Party when New Labour, as they were branded then, and Tony Blair came in and said education, education, education. They said they wanted everybody to go to universities. Fees came in because the universities couldn't afford to then educate all this. So these student fees came in, and the cost now is there to maintain a level of numbers going into higher education. But the point here is, if Labour wants to cut school fees to 6,000, does it know what the knock-on effect, and I asked the lady here, the councillor, to explain how universities will be able to fund the places that they have to fund when you cut their funding in the fees that they get in? How will you fund that? How will those universities fund it? I'm asking the lady, the councillor here.
Okay, well, I'm telling you that the Labour Party has costed everything in their manifesto, therefore they know how they're going to do it.
No, I'm asking you. No, sorry.
I know.
I'm asking you that you are taking money out of higher education, money that goes to those universities. How do you expect those universities now to make the gap of the funding that they need?
Well, the Labour Party will make. Well, it's all about where you put cuts and where you put money and where you don't.
So you don't know?
No. I do know. I'm going to answer your question, but you're not letting me speak.
Well, let us speak.
The Labour Party's made a choice to. I mean, we know where we are with the economy, with the deficit, with everything. So the Conservative Party has been cutting everything left, right and centre, whereas the Labour Party knows there will be cuts to be made. However, there will be no cuts made to the NHS and to education. All the cuts that will be made will be outside of that. Whereas I know, sitting on a Labour council in Ealing, we've had to make 87 million of cuts in the last 4 years, and now another 96 million of cuts, which is more than half of our budget. Okay, more than half of our budget has been cut, and everybody is suffering. I have to speak to people on the doorstep and say, I'm really sorry about all the cuts we're making, all the cuts we're making to your services, because it's the It's the government. It's the
Right,
Conservative government
can we
that's putting us
respond?
here.
We go to the other camp now.
I think I just respond to the point, though, that this coalition government, has
have few questions, please.
Sure, but the coalition government has had to deal with a Labour deficit.
I think so. Whole program is going to be taken by both the parties because they are talking to each other. They are not giving chance to us to we can ask a question.
Yes.
Things yes, and first thing is that what the respectable lady told about religious education is a good thing in the schools because either we are Muslim, Hindu, Christian, Sikhs, our children must need to learn about the religion. That's a very good thing and positive thing. Secondly, Mr. Bhatti did mention that about the Asian community jobs like that. If in the end of my name is Singh and Bhatti and everything, so for us very difficult for the jobs. But Labour was in the power, so why you did not solve this problem on that time? And secondly, now respectable lady is saying about that tuition fees they are going to reduce about £6,000. Why not free education? Because this tuition fees is gifted by Labour government. And this is this you think, for example, you can put £10,000 fees, and after that you say, oh, we are going to reduce. No, free education. Free education. Yes.
Please, the other questions, please. Yeah. We don't have much time today. Yes.
Basically, as gentlemen
rightly
pointed out here, not only about the education, about NHS, but other areas are like, especially about we're living in London, So all boroughs in London and surrounding London, they are too much populated, So what efforts you are making in order to reduce the immigrants or the new people coming from northern part of UK getting settled here, or what kind of job opportunities you are creating on the in other parts of the UK, so that it should be less burden on this part of the, And my second question is, about the property prices as they are rocking high in this part of the UK. So what steps you gonna take in future to control them so that they should, as rightly pointed out, they are getting out of the hands of the youngsters.
All right. Let's ask Mr. Munawar. You have a question.
No, I am not asking any questions. The only thing I wanted to say was faith schools, I don't think have a place in this country, and they should not be allowed. Segregation is something which we all hate, and creating the faith school is segregation. Religion education is everybody's personal religion matter. Religion should be taught, and they should be taught at home rather than trying to given it to separate schools, which creates segregation between, say, Sikhs and Muslims and Hindus and Christians. This is not allowed. This is what we should learn, and this is what we have fighting for so many years, for years and years and years, and we should not do this now. It should be completely finished.
Okay, now we have 3 questions. The Labour will answer and the Tory will answer. The question on one is the faith school, property prices, and the housing, the accommodation. Who wants to start first?
Okay, go on.
The 3 questions, every participant do the 1 question. Who's going to the...
let me deal with the faith school.
Faith school, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
There have been
deal with only faith school, please.
Yeah, absolutely. There have been in the past, or always have been for years and centuries. There have been a Church of England schools, there were Roman Catholic schools, and all these schools always have been done. They have not done any harm at all. If anything, they build up the personality profile of the person who are attending the schools. I'm all for faith schools, and in faith school, it's a national curriculum still the same.
Okay.
Whether you are going there, any school.
Your input has come. No, on the faith school.
Yeah.
Let me go to the...
Let me finish that. I haven't finished it. So, national curriculum will be safe, and they are always there. It's only one period. And nothing wrong with the one period going on morality and faith school. I think. And this also gives a competition to the local authority schools, and the standards are always...
Mr. Singh, we are short of time. Faith school, please, quickly.
Yeah, I think the faith school is very good, actually. It's taught how to become a good human beings. And this is very interesting that it's been taught by different teachers. They are not taught by only one religious. They are from English backgrounds and Christian and Jews and all sort of people have a faith school, and also different teacher teaching the different educations, and they try to make a good human being, and follow that one. I accept that one is a very good idea.
Sorry, we are short of property prices, please. Property
Talking
prices.
about housing, I totally agree with you. I mean, I have kids who are trying to get their first house, and it is very difficult. However, there are so many government schemes now to help first-time buyers. For example, there are schemes that give you a discount. Banks have been urged also to look kindly on people who are buying first. Property prices, what do you do when everybody wants to live in London? I find that this is a worldwide problem, when even in India, who I know that the property prices are right, but what do you do? The only sad thing is that I wish our incomes would rise as fast as the housing property. And also, there's a reverse reaction. If you give money or allow discounts for first-time buyers to buy housing, property prices also go up because more people can actually afford those properties. And it's a vicious circle. What do you do?
Thank you, Anita. Mr. Singh, on the property prices?
On the property side, because there is a housing shortage, and because of the housing shortage, and moreover, because of the unemployment and poor wages, people can't afford to buy property. If they earn, for 16 years, even then they would be able to give the deposit. Such a bad condition of earnings and lower earnings. So what the Labour Party is trying to put up minimum wage up to £8 per hour. In this way, they could save £3,000 per year if they are full-time workers. And moreover, they've got a plan to make massive housing schemes in every borough, so that people could go up the ladder of the, so they can buy. On the education side.
No, just thank you. We need now the immigration. And immigration, Yul and the
I think the key thing about the pressure on cities is why the Chancellor George Osborne has been saying that we need to grow the northern powerhouse cities. It's why the case for investing in northern cities, in making HS2, in linking the country up, to ease that pull to London and decrease the pressure on London. And that investment has been coming through this government. I think, the previous government had its opportunity to do this. It had a failure rate in terms of investing in the north.
But what will be the immigration policy?
Well, the immigration policy is obviously, and you find that the current leader of the Labour Party keeps going around saying they got it wrong. Okay, uncontrolled immigration, a lack of awareness of what that would do to the country, the pressure it would put on public services, which is why the Conservative Party in coalition has been working to get a control on immigration. Obviously, the free movement of people in Europe is an issue in terms of the numbers that come here, which is why the Prime Minister has said that if he wins the election, he will hold a referendum to ask the question about how do we change the terms with Europe and we try and deal with some of these issues. Again, this is not a question that the Labour Party is even willing to put to the electorate, despite the fact that the electorate are concerned, and your question comes from there.
All right, thank you. Immigration policy?
On immigration, I would just like to make the point that the NHS would grind to a halt if it wasn't for immigration. In the NHS, we've got doctors, nurses, midwives from every nationality, and that's how the NHS functions. So we should welcome immigration and welcome skilled people who want to come here and work. And the Conservatives said 5 years ago that they were going to get net migration down to the tens of thousands, and actually it's gone up massively. So I don't think they...
You said you want to open the doors.
No, I haven't said we want to open the doors. I'm talking about the NHS and how it would grind to a halt. I think the Conservatives are blind to how the NHS is going to function. Without people from all around the world who come and work here.
Okay, now we have to conclude the program. Let me ask one by one what they think about the next election. Please, within 30 seconds, what do you think the next election what changes will come?
In the next election, first of all, I'll request everyone, yeah, especially from the Asian community, to participate, yeah, and what party may come, yeah. Basically, we should try to hold our own conscience as a witness that we will bring the best people for UK and for our community.
Thank you, Mr. Moinuddin.
Yes, in my observation, what research I have done, I am looking David Cameron again, Prime Minister of the UK.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Munawar.
Yeah, well, I feel it is very difficult, very close contest this time. People should, my personal opinion would be, I will vote for any party who are spending more money on NHS, which is very, very important. Education is health is more important than anything else for anybody, whether you are young, whether you are a child, or whether you are an old person.
Yes. Thank you.
It's important. Health is more important than anything else.
Mr. Bhatti, 30 seconds, please.
I don't know where that come up at, that the David Cameron will be re-elected for second time.
Please don't comment.
I'm saying the Ed Miliband is the best man, and we should vote for him to be elected. And also, if you look at the nowadays road conditions, and more than 1 million people are in food bank nowadays, so poverty is gone.
Thank you. Let me speak to the lady quickly. 30 seconds.
I would urge the Asian community to come out and vote Labour, because only Labour is going to save the hospitals and education. Please come out and vote Labour on the 7th of May.
Yes.
For a fairer society, for your family, for the future of your family, David Cameron, the Conservative government, will make this country better and continue the economic recovery that gives jobs and a future to our children.
Mr. Singh, 30 seconds.
We have given 1.9 million jobs in the last 5 years, cleared the mess Labour Party left. So have a faith in us and don't risk it. Vote Conservatives and vote for Gurcharan Singh and Slough.
Quickly, please.
It's the time for the Asian voters to come out and vote for Labour Party, because Labour Party has good policy for the common man.
Anita.
Women have to sacrifice a lot for us women to get the vote. Get out there and do your duty.
Thank you. These are the comments and opinions, and let me finish this program. See you next week. Bye bye for now.